Welcome back to Citizens Forum. I'm Will Smith, and my guest today is Jack Etkin. We're going to have the Jack and Will show. I got to vote in my first federal election. I got to the polls at 6:59, and I was number 15th in line. So I really was impressed that people want to vote.
Wow.
So where do we go with this, Jack?
Well, so I'll just show, today is Wednesday the 23rd, the election was on Monday. So I just want to show a picture of the National Post from today, and it says, if you can focus in on this, it says, "A nation divided." And if you take a look at the picture, especially the West, you can see it's all single colors over large areas, and it's hard to see, but they actually have a scissors in there, sort of cutting up our country. This is being told to us by an American-owned newspaper that we are a nation divided. And it's sort of true. I mean, there is definitely division in the nation, but I think that division is being forced down our throats especially by the media, and I don't mean just the National Post, but all of them. The headline, the small headline that this story is about, it says, "Jason Kenney warns of distrust of Ottawa and Western alienation after vote." So that's what I see the media is pushing. They want division because that's how they rule our country, meaning the corporations. It's all about oil, it's all about our natural resources, it's all about money. We, the people who live here, don't matter for 1 second to any of them, I don't think. So why is Alberta upset? And if you follow the news, the reason Alberta is upset is because there are no pipelines, right? They want pipelines to get their oil to market. This is what we've been told for the last couple of years. And Saskatchewan too. Saskatchewan also wants pipelines. But what they never tell us is that when the National Energy Board hearings were taking place several years ago about whether or not to approve the pipeline, the unions, the Alberta Federation of Labour and Unifor, which is the biggest union that represents the energy industry, the people who work in the energy industry, the Alberta Federation of Labour and Unifor both opposed the pipeline, saying it was bad for jobs. So if the unions, which supposedly represent the workers, opposed the pipeline, saying it was bad for jobs, why is Alberta prepared to separate because we don't have a pipeline? Right? The whole thing is insane. That's how we are misinformed and disinformed and pitted against each other, so that the 1% of the 1%, the banksters and the oil companies and the financiers and the billionaires, can continue to basically steal everything in our country while also destroying the planet, or doing their bit to destroy the planet. So we have got a real problem in our country, but the problem isn't a nation divided, and the problem is not Russia, and the problem is not China. The problem is the people who run our country. And if we cannot deal with that problem, then they really are going to destroy us. And I don't see any movement towards dealing with that problem, but I hope it's out there somewhere.
Well, I still don't. I haven't delved into the politics at the national level. I saw the debates and I saw the speeches in English and French. I'd like to say that Scheer speaks really good French for an American. I did notice that. So,
right.
But I don't know. I mean, it's just. Yeah. I really can't say anything. I mean, I still look at it all, and it's just. I think they're going off the cliff. So I try.
And taking us with them. I don't care if they go off the cliff.
So
just don't take the other.
And I see the same thing, the division happening in the United States. I mean, it's really divided. There are people predicting civil war. So, you know, it's right now it's very difficult. I think that things can change very quickly, too. So
And I would say that just like as is happening here, the division in the United States is being deliberately created because the
Yes.
American people, really, they have a lot in common. They want good places to raise their families and good schools and good health care. That's what everybody wants. But you know, they're being just ripped apart.
Yeah, and we're headed. We have a there are these little things that bother me about looking at the financial scene now. You have Russia and China loading up on gold, the central banks, and then Holland and even Germany. Germany hasn't bought any gold for 20 years, and now and it's not very much. But when that starts happening, since I was a gold trader, they're little red flags that say there's stuff going on in the background that be careful in here because it may get rocky.
Yeah.
So
I think that's for sure. It is going to get rocky.
I don't have any predictions about what's going to happen. I just think it's to some extent it's every person for themselves because things can change so quickly. It's such a time of uproar. So I mean we're sort of lulled into this complacency by the elections took place and just as they always do, but I don't see any, even if we all pulled together to solve our problems, could we actually solve all of our problems? And yet there's all this created dissent to keep us from doing that.
Yeah, I really think that if we were pulling together, we would be a much, much more pleasant and happy and better off and better and healthier and happier community. I really do think that. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I do think that.
Let's talk about this lie here that you caught. I mean, it's just kind of mind-blowing. People make stuff up.
This is another crazy story. This is from today's Times Colonist, again, Wednesday the 23rd. If you check the headline, it says...
Olympian offers to row Thunberg to Victoria.
Yeah. Olympian offers to row Greta Thunberg to Victoria. And the reason is shown in this sub-story down here, and this is page 1. And this story says, activist, which is Greta, passed up on Victoria over ferries fossil fuel. So what they're saying is she decided not to come to Victoria because she didn't want to use a ferry that burns oil. So this guy kindly offered to row her over, which is a great story. But it's caused a lot of kind of anger and dissent, that I've heard on Facebook and in other places. What's wrong with her? Why won't she? Blah, blah, blah. So the second page of the story, which is on page 2, if you read down to the last paragraph, it says, adding some confusion to the situation, the Times Colonist tells us, this message was posted to Thunberg's Twitter account late Tuesday, which is late yesterday. And Greta says, P.S. I don't know anything about an invitation to Victoria, and I have definitely not declined it because of emissions from the public transport ferry. She says, I tried to visit as many places as I can, but there's not enough time to go everywhere. So the whole story is about how she isn't coming to Victoria because she doesn't want to use the ferry, and yet the last paragraph says the story is absolutely not true because she never said that. So
I don't understand.
Why is the Times Colonist doing this to us? And not only in this story, but 365 days a year on every important issue, there's this ongoing manipulation of public opinion, giving us, well, can you say it's a lie? Because I guess they heard the story from somewhere, but at the end of the story, they're saying it's not true.
I wanted to talk about one other topic. I'm always interested in technology, and there have been some really interesting new developments, like Google has successfully made a chip that can utilize quantum things that are happening at the quantum level and bring them up to the material world. But I'm also interested in DNA editing. I saw a movie, or not a movie, a documentary on Netflix. I've actually only seen one, and I think there's 6 episodes, but it's about editing how to edit DNA. And there's been a breakthrough within the past couple of years. They found a protein that can split apart a strand of DNA and take out a section and put in a different one. So you can edit the DNA, and it's something that anybody can do. There's one of the things is a guy has a kit that he sells on the internet for $150. So you can edit your DNA or your dog's DNA.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I know. I mean, I sat there with my mouth open during most of the thing because I didn't realize.
And this is true.
This is true. This is real. And
what do you do to edit your DNA?
Well, I can't explain it.
Is it like an?
It's just like you shoot yourself. You have a syringe, and you put. I mean, it's capable of selectively changing DNA, and they're starting to map. And this guy gets up there and says you can change. You know, you can get ripped. You can have big muscles without exercising. And it shows the audience.
So you buy this, and
and you have to figure it all out. And but some man in the audience says, "You mean you're trying to get us to buy your kit and then change our DNA? What about you? I mean, you're just selling us this kit." He goes, "Oh, I'm going to get ripped," and he pulls out a syringe, and then everybody rushes to the front. So I mean, this is something that's really happening. And then they have another guy who's working on making his dogs glow in the dark. And I've only seen one episode yet, so I'm not even into it. This thing is called unnatural selection, but I think it's something that we need to think about because it raises all these questions. I can't imagine what the world's going to look like in 10 years with all these glow-in-the-dark dogs and cats running around and things like that, and people fooling around with their own DNA. It's mind-blowing, and I think it shows you that we can't really, making 30-year projections about what's going to happen is just crazy. I mean, you can't issue debt for 30 years and expect to be paid back. It's not going to be the way it is in 30 years. So, I don't know.
Yeah, man, oh man. Well, I know nothing about technology, so, you know, I'm glad you keep me updated.
Well, we're out of time. I think that we all need to be at least aware of these things, and you know, like quantum things, because they're coming.
I don't even know what quantum is.
Well, that's another topic.
That's another topic.
So thank you for watching this last segment of Citizens Forum.
I said, don't wait up, 'cause I might be late. So don't you stay up all night and wait, turn out the light, and let's say goodnight. I said, babe,